Manever I say ma PENDREAM TV. PENDREAM TV there, I see them yopo.
Welcome to PENDREAM TV, your number one source for breaking political news and fearless analysis. Today, the spotlight is on Beatrice Annan as she boldly responds to NPP critics following the arrest of Abronye. She says, "We are not interested in someone like Abronye." A statement shaking up the political conversation. Stay tuned as we break it all down for you.
I think maybe your position is very good for her. She looks very relaxed and calm.
You won't say anything.
We wish you.
It's a matter of time.
It's a matter of time.
We wish you a speedy recovery.
It's a matter of time.
That's what?
Come again.
It's a matter of time.
It's a matter of time that the positions will change.
Why?
So
why are you talking like
we are resting now.
Why are you talking like we haven't been in opposition before?
We are resting now.
Why is it a bad thing to be in opposition?
They should fix the country.
Oh yeah, we are fixing the country. I think that. Yes, that's
and fulfill their promises. That's the most important thing. As for me looking good or not, it doesn't affect.
I can't even compliment
it doesn't affect the price of fish.
Hey, I can't even compliment you. Hey, the opposition will be harder than I imagined.
Let me say of this engagement. Anyway, so let's start off from the courts. Definitely, let me pick from Daily Guide. Daily Guide says that Abronye judge under fire over animal farm ruling. And this is how Daily Guide goes about it. The decision by the Circuit Court in Accra to rely on George Orwell's animal farm while remanding the Bono regional chairman of the New Patriotic Party, NPP, Kwabena Bafo, popularly known as Abronye DC4, another week has drawn wild criticisms from all quarters, with some calling it illogical and unfortunate. The court presided over by His Honor Samuel Bright Aqua last Friday rejected all pleas by lawyers for Abronye for him to be granted. I've just remembered something funny, but let me continue reading. Abronye for him to be granted bail pending trial, rejecting all the assurances that the accused is not a flight risk and will therefore avail himself for trial. Instead of relying on the constitutional and case law to back his ruling, the judge's decision to quote Animal Farm, a book which preaches inequality, did not help matters, forcing many to question his intentions and whether he should continue to sit in the case. So, quote, "It is always said that all persons are equal, but the practice is not so. But in practice, it is not so." Courtesy George Orwell, in his book, The Animal Farm, one of the commandments is that all men are equal, but some are equal than others. Translated into this case, all men are equal, but some are more equal than others. Unquote. The judge, who is by law expected to uphold equality, said in his ruling while denying the accused bail. All right, I'll end it here. Other papers have different, captions for this particular matter, but we'll go straight. The inquisitor says that after days in remand custody, AG to rescue Unkuf Abronye. So we're told that today, of course, they'll be in court, and they will see how Abronye out of cage today. That's the informal capturing it. How is the AG going to handle this matter as they go to court? We'll follow through and bring updates. But for now, lawyer Beatrice, and I'll start off with you. I know that you've also, most of your people in your party have taken a position on the decisions by the courts on this particular case. Let's hear you, and then I've played some videos as well representing some of your opinions of some lawyers from your party.
Yeah, good morning once again to our viewers. And I want to say that when we normally come on TV, or when we prefer an opinion on national issues, sometimes we do not do so because it's entirely political. We do so because, and at least I can speak for myself, because we believe that when you don't speak up against the wrongs of society, on the day you find yourself in a way that puts you in a certain difficult position, you probably would even suffer more than the people who had suffered before you. And so when we lead certain advocacies, people in power, people within the political class, the general populace should not assume that certain things are so far from them that it can never happen to them. I think that in my life as a private legal practitioner, if you have had an opportunity to represent clients, you come into first hand with how harsh the justice system can be. And sometimes even when it's not harsh, it can be extremely slow. So we have a joke amongst us when something happens, and as lawyers, we say we are not going to court. And because we always play ball in the court, and we know that sometimes your remedy does not necessarily lie in court. I make this point to illustrate or to show something that we are having to come to discuss the issue of Abronye today. And it's amusing, it's quite surprising, because not too long ago, some 8 months down the line, we were told that governments don't put people behind bars. We were told, and you have played the interview of the president. We were told that the Attorney General then was such a lawyer whose jurisprudential argument could win every court case, and that the moment the Attorney General appeared in court, by some divine revelations, there were a lot of legal theories that were revealed to him. So if governments were winning cases, however absurd the decisions were, you should not talk about it. And they are very quick to refer you to, oh, go to court when something happens. And so I was wondering whether Godfrey Dame, the supremo of all lawyers, could not be present in a circuit court and represent Abronye and make one of the most, I don't know what word to use to describe, one of the deepest jurisprudential arguments for the judge to be carried away so Abronye could be denied bail. That sometimes we agree that the judges don't get the laws right, and that sometimes you need to criticize them. I say this thing, and it's a bit, it's a bit, it's not that I'm getting teary, but it's a bit emotional for me that some 8 months down the line, the NPP cannot even stand 1% of the things that everybody was trying to caution them against, that do not interfere with the judiciary, do not call judges like Attorney General was doing, do not have the judiciary at your beck and call as if these people were your children. Do not threaten judges to do your bidding because you had access to political power. Because then when the legislature and the executive fail us, the last resort we have, even guided by our checkered history, is the judiciary. So do not take, we can do our party, NDC, NPP politics here, but do not take it to the bench. They said no, the NDC lawyers were such terrible lawyers. They were losing cases in court and they were winning. So I want someone to tell me why they didn't make some of the most sophisticated jurisprudential arguments, and their most favorite Abronye would be in behind bars. But most importantly, I think it's important for me to make a statement that government does not have a hand in the arrest and the remand of Abronye. I always say that I have the privilege of working with President Mahama. When he comes to the office in the morning, he has very weighty matters on his schedule. As I speak to you today, there are a number of serious meetings on the big push. Tomorrow he would, cut salt for 2 major projects, one in Afienya, one in Ho. These are the serious issues that President Mahama has, and for that matter, every minister in government. And like Loratu did caution early on, we are in the process of fixing the country that they so led into the abyss. We recognize that they are very germane matters, bread and butter issues. Young people can't find jobs. The discussion is how to expand for young people to find jobs. So in the quarters of government at Jubilee, I can assure you that these are the discussions that take place. Abronye is nobody in the scheme of things for government. If we had anybody to worry about, if government had somebody to, I don't think that anybody will waste their time on someone like Abronye. And I say this also on authority because as of yesterday when I counted, Abronye has insulted President Mahama more than 89 times. And in all those, and that's what I could gather. I can't even repeat one. To the extent that even when President Mahama was in opposition, his lawyer had to petition the CID then on some of the unsavory remarks. We came to power. President Mahama doesn't even have time, to say that I'm going after someone like Abronye. So for which reason government is doing something wrong and somebody will want to rope government into this. This is a man who literally survives on, sometimes in politics people can get harsh, but Abronye's case is not a matter of harshness or excessiveness. It's a matter of pure, I don't know what words to use to describe him so that I don't disrespect our viewers. But so I can give the people of Ghana the assurance that the government of Ghana is not interested in someone like Abronye. And that if we had precious time and we want to go after people in NPP, I don't think that even in the list, in any serious room, in any serious discussion, anybody will mention the name of Abronye. And I'm telling you that on more than 86 different occasions at the last count yesterday, he has insulted President Mahama. But President Mahama is not interested, government is not interested in somebody like him. And let me tell you, President Mahama has a checkered history of being very generous to his critics. In fact, even in the NDC, many people have a challenge with him because they think he's so kind. You would recall how Manasseh falsely, in ways published the confirmed matter that was never true, the Ford expedition saga. Manasseh practically created a profession by publicizing a lot of false news about President Mahama. He's one of the people who will not shun Manasseh. And Manasseh himself has been saying how generous he's been, even supporting him. His life has never been under threat. You recall A+ in the lead up to the 2016 election. Practically, using words you can't repeat on President Mahama. And there are a number of them, even in NPP, there are a number of them who say things. If you know President Mahama well, if you know the kind of government and the legacy he wants to leave, it will not even click to any reasonable mind that government is interested. But having made that point, if you look at the fact sheets as we have, or the record of proceedings as we have, you would realize that this case is basically about what Abronye is alleged to have said about the Inspector General of Police. And so that was the reason he was taken to court. Now, let me also say that from time immemorial, the Attorney General gives the police what we call a fiat to prosecute cases. And so there are a number of cases. In fact, many criminal cases that take place at either the circuit court or the district court, normally the AGs are not involved. So you have the people we call police prosecutors. And when these police prosecutors are prosecuting some of these cases or what we call misdemeanors, the AG doesn't interfere. So it's between the police prosecutor and then the defense counsel. In fact, it's the reason why many police officers wanted to go to law school, because indirectly they'll be doing the work of lawyers. So this is being handled by a police prosecutor. And I can also tell you on authority, I have spoken to the Attorney General. He does not have any intention to reduce the judiciary into where an Attorney General will call a judge and say that, do you know what, do this and do that. So the Attorney General would not interfere unless it becomes so necessary that the fiat which is issued is being abused. Then Attorney General can interfere and say that, you know what, I think this is not right in law. But let's also make this point, that the NDC government is setting new standards in protecting the rights of people. Not so long ago, the NPP's Okatachi of Efifa, or I've forgotten if that's his right name, the guy who does the setting the record straight or something, they went to, they petitioned the police that they wanted to demonstrate against Galamsey. Normally in the NPP, for the past 8 years, they'll go to court.
But he didn't do it in the name of the NPP. He did it.
Yes, I'm just saying he's associated with them.
Okay.
Unless they want to deny him. But even if he's not, that's fine. But he wanted to, undertake a protest. Normally, the police will go to court and say that you can't protest. The Attorney General was in court and said that we are not opposed to the protest. Their right to protest should be, and that was a marked departure from what we experienced. So I can assure the people of Ghana that the NDC government is committed to setting some good standards in tandem with democracy. The NDC government is committed to making sure that we right the wrongs of the past, especially when it comes to the liberty of individuals. But having said that, I've heard a lot of people say that the decision of the court in the Abronye case is wrong. I'm sure they use the word decision loosely, but I think that is the reasoning that is wrong. The court has the right to exercise a discretion to deny bail in accordance with Section 96(5) of what we call the Act 30. So the court can say that on the basis of the facts presented, I think that you should be granted bail or you should not be granted bail. The problem we have is the reasoning of the judge, and I think that that reasoning is not sound in law. And I'm such an advocate of non-custodial sentence, and I keep saying it. I have an article on non-custodial sentence. So I'm the last person to even say that if we use what in law we call the retributivist theory, then we are trying to meet the expectations of society. No,
what's that?
Where you punish people because they've done wrong, so that it will deter others, so that there will be some moral justice. So the aim is not for you to be remorseful or to transform. I subscribe to a different ideology, which we call the utilitarian, where punishment is supposed to reform. So the judge could have gone anyway and said that I'm exercising my discretion and denying the bail. But you know what? The judge did something interesting. In the decision, the judge said that, so if you permit me, I'll just read that part. It is the wish of the court that all Ghanaians should try.
Where are you reading from?
The judgment,
the ruling
on, yes,
and
page 9. That will be the 3rd paragraph or the 4th paragraph.
Okay.
One of the code of ethics for judges is that their decisions should be consistent. I have a case before me The Republic versus Raphael Okai Ankra, who appeared before me on 16th May 2023. And this was an NDC sympathizer who openly, around where he stays, insulted the then president, His Excellency Nana Addo Dankwa Addo, and was given 2 weeks remand just to cool down tempers. This is the judiciary the NPP left, where when you insult the president, you will be taken to court and be remanded. The NDC has a history. When John Kuma...
I remember during that time, we even made reference to lawyer Asankuma's statement.
That insulting the president was not an offense and all that. I remember when John Kuma and some other NPP people insulted President Mills and they were arrested. Quickly, President Mills said, I have been insulted. I'm not interested. I am not interested in the case. In a similar vein, we didn't hear that. So this is the judiciary you left. So the man said that, oh, not long ago in 2023, you brought an NDC sympathizer to me and I remanded him for 2 weeks.
Yes, to cool tempers.
In accordance with the Code of Ethics of Judges, and I mean the reasoning I say I disagree. The judiciary which you left, today an NPP person is before me. I do not see why I should not remand him. So when we talk, and at the time when we were telling the NPP, today it's Abronye, tomorrow it will be another NPP person, and the list will continue.
Let me ask this question legally. If there's a ruling and it becomes like a case study, must every judge of a similar, sitting on a similar case go by that ruling?
No, you see, in the lower courts, like the circuit and the district courts where this happened, their decisions are not binding. They don't have any effect.
Okay.
It is, the moment they make the decision, it ends with them. Nobody can go and quote it and apply it anywhere. So it is not like what we call the superior court of judication. These are lower courts, so they are not binding.
Okay.
But it is the psyche of the judge that I'm interested in.
Yes, but in this case, she is the same person that starts on the previous case.
In my own
so
court.
she, even though her case is not binding or her ruling is not binding, she will feel...
It's her reasoning. That she said, in this my court, you brought an NDC sympathizer not long ago for insulting the president.
And I did.
I remanded the person for 2 weeks. In fact, the case is still ongoing.
But her...
And now...
Okay, but her decision to remand that NDC sympathizer, was it influenced by the government?
No. And that's, you see, and that is why I don't have evidence that it was influenced by the government.
Okay, yeah.
So when we sit and we criticize such a decision, we expect the NPP to agree with us that in law, this decision, like I am in government, I have come to tell you that I disagree with the reasoning of the judge and that it did not make sense, but in accordance with law, he shouldn't have used this route because sometimes the reason is as important as the conclusion.
Yeah.
Remanding someone into custody, the judge did nothing wrong. So the decision in itself is not wrong, but the reasoning behind the decision.
That's what has affected the decision.
We are questioning. So we are saying that at the time, when we go to the Supreme Court and you file cases at 11 a.m. and you get decisions by 1 p.m., we say that we expect you to agree with us at the time. You don't come and you defend. They were defending all these things. I have sat on platforms with other people where when they fixed the country, people were remanded for 2 weeks. One of the finest and brilliant lawyers, however, his excesses, Oliver Barker. Oliver Barker has a very, impressive record in Harvard. If you engage Oliver in the debate, oh my God, it is beautiful. You took such a person, remanded him for almost a month, and at the time, we kept telling you, do not use the denial of bail as punishment. You kept saying there was nothing wrong with it. The question is, what has changed? And I'm telling you that as a government, we are a government with conscience.
The question at the time
we have
was,
been in
what
opposition
law
and government
has been
before.
breached? the question at the time was what law has been breached.
Yes, but even if, you see, bail in itself is not to be used as a punishment, even when any law has been breached. So
has
even
not
where,
been breached.
Even when a law has been breached.
Oh, okay.
So whether it's the offense of murder,
Okay.
it's the offense of defilement, whatever, even if it's a first-degree felony, we expect that ordinarily the courts will grant bail. Where the court would deny the bail, the law says that one, the court must be satisfied that the accused person would, while on bail, commit another offense or will not avail himself or can interfere with investigation. So the court could have cited any of these reasons on the basis of the arguments that were advanced in court and said that I'm denying the bail because I think that the accused person has a potential to abscond, or this accused person may interfere with investigation. So I'll deny the bail.
So the reasoning will be
and
sound.
Nobody would have an issue with him. But we are saying that when the NPP was in power, they were so power drunk. Sometimes they were convinced that they would never leave power. The NDC has not said we will not leave power. We are committed to delivering the mandates of the people. But in the course of delivering, when things are wrong, you listen to feedback, you correct it. I've heard a number of the lawyers saying that this decision is wrong. You think the NDC, we don't have people who prepare speaking points and come and sit on TV and be saying the same thing, that we can also find reasons to justify that. But you don't do that because it can be me. And I always tell my male friends, wait until somebody accuses you of rape, which is a first-degree felony, and the court denies you bail. And then you will see, like my mother would say, Obeto Samia, you will see. Because the justice system already, we have a problem with it. And so you don't, when you are seated in power, you are comfortable. You think that, yes, nobody can arrest me. You justify everything that happened under your regime. Even when people were trying to call you to order. I sat on TV and some of their communicators called Oliver Barker, Felicity Nelson, and some of these people who were remanded as hooligans, and said that as hooligans, they deserve to be behind bars, and that even if they will be there for a month while the case, or they justify these things. My question is, what has changed 8 months out of power? It is Abronye that people are doing. Then in the coming days, you will really be in trouble. Because you don't do that. And I say that government is not involved in this. This is purely a case of the Ghana Police Service. And it's not as if even the complainant is a government official or something. So I would also, on this note, urge the Ghana Police Service. Because if you read the record of proceedings, they said that, oh, we brought him within 48 hours, so we are within law. But I also urge the Ghana Police Service to listen to feedbacks. In building a young democracy, sometimes these are some of the excesses that you have. So I urge them to listen to feedbacks. And I also say that I'm an advocate of non-custodial sentence. So on any day, I've always represented accused person. And I mean, while I learned, let me tell you, when we were in opposition as lawyers, NDC lawyers, it's not everything we could even put in the media. Because some of the cases, you were hoping that they could be settled if, I mean, people didn't know about it. I was 8 months, 3 weeks pregnant. And NPP people kept us at police stations until the very last day I delivered. Why? Because of some baseless accusations. And they will keep you and they will show you where power lies. I was on my feet in court during a contempt case for a student when Sami Jemfi called me that I have been arrested at the studios of UTV. And I didn't know whether to continue my submission and finish or to leave and just pack my bag and go. They did a lot of things. Eric J, small boy, was practically harassed. And at the time, we kept warning you that power is not permanent. Somehow it is transient. It will change. This morning I've heard Larato saying that yes, power will change. The NDC, that has never been lost on us. We have been in power, we have been out of power. In fact, our president himself was a president before, so he's been there before and has been an opposition leader and is in power. So we know. But they didn't think that power would change. They had national security statistics and data that showed how they were going to rule this country for 32 years. And so forth. No matter what you said, they knew they were not going to leave power. Today, here you are.
Okay.
What is wrong in the past is wrong in the present. But let's not those who justify it in the past make a U-turn. That is the discussion this morning.
Okay. We'll take a quick breather. When we come back, I'll allow Larato to also make a submission on what the...
Thanks for watching PENDREAM TV, where we bring you the stories that matters in Ghana's politics. What's your take on Beatrice Annan's response to the NPP over Abronye's response? Drop your thoughts in the comment section below. We want to hear from you. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe so you never miss out on our latest updates. Until next time, this is PENDREAM TV, giving you the voice behind the news.
PENDREAM TV now, so far so good. Say open online portal e Ghana. Nipa share, nipa follow, nipa comment here. To my best of knowledge, without any biases, PENDREAM TV.